Rick Rule for Rule Investment Media and the Rule Classroom, sponsors of the 2025 Natural Resources Investment Symposium, held this year, July 7 through 11, in Boca Raton, Florida, or from the comfort and convenience of your own home via live stream. A few things to know about the conference that are critical. The first is that we're going to deliver 50 hours, more than 50 hours, in fact, of intensive programming over 4 days, more than you can absorb in the 50 hours we've allotted. To that end, the recordings of the conference will be available to you for a full year, and you'll need to avail yourself of the recordings. We're simply going to give you more knowledge than you're going to be able to absorb in the time that we present it to you. To make that process more efficient, we're interviewing every public company exhibitor and every speaker at the conference before the conference. The idea being that you can isolate your interest and reach out to those exhibitors and study the exhibitors even before the conference and allocate your time and, more importantly, your capital much more efficiently at the conference. Note, too, that every public company exhibitor at the conference has been vetted. At every other investment conference in the world that I know of, the qualification to be an exhibitor is merely a check that cashes. At our conference, you have to be owned in my accounts or accounts owned and managed by me to be allowed on the floor. In fact, we refuse more exhibitors than we accept. There is no guarantee that because I own stock, it goes up. But your guarantee is that every exhibitor at our conference, unlike any other conference on the planet, has been vetted and vetted by me personally. That allows me to say this to you if you're considering attending the conference. If for any reason you are unsatisfied with the value that we deliver, you have an absolute solid gold money back guarantee. The financial risk of attending the conference is all mine, not yours. So let's get started with the pre-conference interview. Today, I'm delighted to interview a new friend, John Miniotis, from AbraSilver Resources. You will note that I am a shareholder of Abra, so note conflicts of interest. John, first of all, thank you for a lifetime of dedication to natural resource finance, but much more specifically, thank you for your efforts on my behalf and your sponsorship of the Natural Resources Investment Symposium.
Well, thanks very much for inviting me, Rick. I've attended your conference now for the past few years. I think at least the last 2 years. This will be my third year now. And always find it to be a premier event. And so from our perspective, from the corporate perspective as well, it's a phenomenal opportunity to really get to know some of our retail investors and to be able to present the opportunity here to a very, very well-informed audience. So thanks for all your efforts in hosting that conference each year.
Thank you, John. Tell us something about yourself. Tell us about your background. In frank terms, explain to us why we should care about your answers to the nosy questions I'm about to ask.
Yeah, so I've been in the mining industry my entire career now, which is spanning just north of 20 years. So finance background, so graduated from the University of Toronto in finance. And so I've really focused my career on the mining space, particularly in the corporate development, mergers and acquisition space. So I started off my career at Barrick Gold, and there I was fortunate enough to start off right during the Placer Dome acquisition. So fresh out of university, I got thrown into the corporate development team at Barrick, and at that time we were in the middle of the largest acquisition in mining history at that time with Barrick acquiring Placer Dome. So really got to learn a lot, of course, in very, very short order. And then I stayed there for about a couple of years, 2-3 years. And then I moved on to the sell side doing equity research. So really learning how to analyze stocks on both the precious metals and base metal side of things. Worked as sell side analyst for about 5 years and then came full circle back to the corporate development side. And that's where I was at Lundin Mining for about 6 years. So doing corporate development, and I was also head of investor relations at Lundin. Really helped that company grow as well. So we did well over $2 billion worth of acquisitions while I was there. We acquired Candelaria. We acquired the Eagle project from Rio Tinto. Candelaria, of course, from Freeport. And a few other deals as well. So really got to learn the ropes of how to add value through acquisitions, also through the drill bit. And then when I left there, went to Rico Metals, which was a startup and we sold that to Centerra Gold in less than 2 years for over $300 million Canadian. So again, really got to experience adding a lot of shareholder value through smaller companies. And then I've been running now AbraSilver for the last 5 years. And so I think you've been an investor the entire time again, Rick. Got in the early stages. We were a $10 million market cap, back in 2020. And now we find ourselves with about a $500 million market cap. So myself and certainly our exploration team down at site, I think have really done a great job once again, adding a lot of shareholder value organically through the drill bit. I think that's, obviously some great experience between myself and our technical team down at site.
Well, let's talk about the asset. Let's talk something about the, I guess it's almost, well, I wouldn't say post-exploration, but you're certainly in deeply, deeply, deeply advanced exploration. Tell us something about the asset. Tell us how big it is. Tell us something about the infrastructure in the area. Let us understand what the opportunity is in front of us.
So our key project is Diablillos. It's a large-scale silver-gold advanced stage exploration project. And again, our team at site has done a great job growing this organically. So when we started off, we had about 130 million ounces, the silver equivalent, in the measured and indicated category. And this is 100% silver and gold focused. So when we're saying silver equivalent, not converting zinc or lead or copper or any of that. It's just converting the gold into silver. So this is 100% precious metals focused. So we went from 130 million ounces silver equivalent to now we sit at 260 million ounces silver equivalent. And once again, we're going to be updating our resource estimate within a couple months. And so we expect that number to grow once again quite considerably. And so this is a large scale resource, over 250 million ounces silver equivalent in the ground. As you mentioned, very, very well advanced now. Last year in December, we announced an updated pre-feasibility study. So we've completed our pre-feas. That showed exceptionally robust returns. At current spot prices, the net present value of this project in Canadian dollar terms was over $2.2 billion Canadian. And if you look at that on a per share basis, that's over $15 a share. And we're currently trading at right about $3 Canadian per share. So this is a project that has, exceptional value from a net present value perspective. It's a large producer, producing over 15 million ounces a year, silver equivalent, with very, very low cash costs. So extremely high margins.
Talk to me about a couple things. Talk to me about grade, particularly indicated grade in the early years of mine life.
Yes.
Which probably is what contributes to that economics. Let's do that first, and I'll ask you the next question afterwards.
Yeah, very, very important. And so this is open pit. And so again, most silver deposits, as you know, are underground. And so for us, our open pit cutoff grade is 45 grams per ton silver equivalent. So meaning anything above 45 grams per ton silver equivalent is economic. So we process that through the plant. Now, in the early years, our grade going through the plant is over 200 grams per ton. And so when you look at that compared to the cutoff grade, it's almost 5x. So you can see exceptionally high margins. And that's because a couple of years ago, we discovered this new high grade zone called the Jack deposit. And we're actually still drilling there now and continuing to intersect grades approaching 200 grams per ton near surface, open pitable. And so when you compare it, I mean, the 200 grams per ton, you see those grades sometimes in narrow veins and much, much deeper down. For us, this is close to surface, 200 grams per ton of silver with gold byproduct credits on top of that. So we have exceptionally high grades for a near surface bulk tonnage operation.
What encouraged me to add to my position about 12 months ago is it seemed to me that the exploration was becoming predictive, which is to say that your team was coming to understand the controls and the origin of the deposit well enough that they would propose a thesis, test the thesis with the drill bit, and prove that their thesis was true. Could you tell me something about the exploration upsides that you're seeing on the project, and how you see, and I realize I'm asking you to project, but tell us how that project might conceivably continue to grow.
Sure. And I think, yeah, no, that's an excellent point. I mean, it really is becoming predictive and predictable. So every year now, over the last 5 years, when you look at the trajectory of our resource growth, we've been able to add between 30 to 60 million ounces a year, silver equivalent, in the measured and indicated category. And so we expect similar type of growth for the upcoming resource estimate. So we'll be getting close to, I would assume, somewhere near 300 million ounces now of silver equivalent in the measured and indicated category. And those are coming from the two main deposits. So Culto is the main large scale deposit, and that Jack zone is the southwest extension, which is much higher grade. And so those are the two main areas. We've been focusing over the last 12 months, expanding that high grade zone. That Jack deposit continues to grow. We've had great success there. And again, we're going to put out a resource update within the next several months here. But we also do have several underexplored areas throughout the land package that we have. So there's some new zones that are also extremely exciting. And so I think as investors look for exploration upside, sometimes it's not enough just to be drilling around the margins. You want to look for new areas, and we do have those as well. There's a new zone in particular called the Sombra zone, which we've only drilled a few holes into so far, but looks very, very promising. It's, of course, early days still, but we're going to continue to focus on that zone. And then there's a porphyry complex about 4 kilometers away, which has high-grade gold in this target called the Cerro Viejo zone. So we'll be drilling there as well. And so in addition to having a large resource, which really backstops the valuation, and you can put a feasibility study around that, we do have these new targets, new areas that really gives investors that blue sky upside.
John, if my memory serves me correctly, this deposit is in the Salta Highlands in Argentina. Tell me something about the geography and the politics of both Salta and Argentina. When I first became aware of this project, as I recall, we bought it for Silver Standard back about when the deposit was formed. uh, tell us something about the emerging mining boom taking place in Salta and the infrastructure, and tell us something about Salta's politics with regards to mines and the evolution of Argentine politics, too.
Right. So Salta's been ranked by the Fraser Institute and by several other very reputable surveys as the premier province to do business in, not only in Argentina, but across all of Latin America. And so Salta's always been known as being an extremely mining-friendly province. I call it the Nevada of Argentina. And our project, thankfully, is located right in the heart of the lithium triangle. And so we are surrounded by major large-scale lithium projects. And those have now advanced, several of those have advanced and are now actually producing. So POSCO near us is producing, Eramet's another very large scale project that's producing. And really the benefits of being encircled by these large scale advanced projects and now producing mines is that the infrastructure in the area has been improved greatly. And so now, of course, connected through an all-weather access road from the city of Salta, you drive to site. And there's also an opportunity now to connect this region to grid power. So one of our largest shareholders, Central Puerto, is a large Argentinian utility company. They're the largest power producer in the country. And they're actually looking at putting a grid power extension that will connect us directly to grid power. And so that has tremendous benefits. We won't have to build our own power facilities. And the operating costs of being connected to the grid would be significantly lower than running our own power. And so, yeah, we've had the benefit of seeing billions of dollars invested within even a 30-kilometer radius around our project. So Salta has done, extremely well. Thankfully, in recent years, there's also the Lindero gold mine that's been operating there now for about 5 years. That's an open pit heap leach as well. So Salta's been booming, but now the big turnaround has come at the federal level. I'd say over the last year with President Milei coming into power and successfully passing this new large-scale incentive regime, known mostly as RIGI, which is an acronym. But this is a large-scale investment regime looking to encourage new investments from finally coming into Argentina. And so if you're investing over $200 million in the near term, he's looking to reduce taxes from 35% down to 25%, looking to eliminate export duties, which have presently been very high in country. So right now, if you're producing gold, you have to pay an 8% export duty. On silver, it's 4.5%. Those go down to zero for new projects that qualify for RIGI. And then also looking to remove FX restrictions. And so that's absolutely key. And so this new RIGI legislation is ideal timing for us to be advancing Diablilos. And so we will qualify for this. We'll be applying for that in early 2026. And then once you get approved, you have 2 years to spend 40% of your CapEx. And so we're in a unique position where we have essentially a hard deadline here to get this into production. And that timeline actually fits perfectly within our existing schedule. So right now we're working on the feasibility study. That'll be ready in 12 months' time. We're working on finalizing the permitting. That'll be in place by the end of this year, 2025. And then next year, we'll be set for a construction decision at Diablilos. And those RIGI benefits amount to several $100 million of additional value add. And so you certainly don't want to miss out on that timeline. And so there's never been a better opportunity in the history of Argentina, I would say, to bring a new project forward than under the current regime.
John, to the extent that our attendees would like to learn more about AbraSilver before the conference or at the conference, who specifically do they contact, and how exactly do they contact them?
That's an easy one. We're a small shop. I wear many hats. One of them is certainly a very important hat, is certainly dealing with investors. I answer all questions directly with investors. They can reach me directly. My email address is john@abrasilver.com. So please feel free to reach out if anyone has any questions, and then always happy to set up calls. And again, please don't hesitate to reach out directly to me.
John, I look forward to hosting you at the Natural Resources Investment Symposium in Boca Raton, Florida. Thank you for your efforts on behalf of shareholders. In particular, thank you for your efforts on my behalf.
Thanks very much, Rick. I'm really, really looking forward to the event.